need to, and I go, and they always go back and say, you said when we classify them, it's about the size. Correct. But what does that arrow mean? He keeps going. Now look at that bad boy. We're not talking about the size in little bitty size. We're talking about the size of what? Opening. That's why I left that off. I wanted us to see this. Size of opening. They go, that's cute. Look how little it is. Yeah, but look at its opening. It's wide and obtuse. Bad. And every year I do this right here. And I go classify that one. And somebody goes, that's obtuse. Because look how big it is. Oh, look at its opening. It's a narrow opening, so it's cute. Acute. So, don't get tricked by people like me who like to do that to you. All right, right angle, we all know what that is. Angles that measure,
90.
I'm going to put the word exactly. Exactly 90. Exactly 90. Ivan, when you're done writing, throw me green, buddy. Exactly 90. Now, what do we put in a 90-degree angle that shows 90?
A little square.
A little square box in the corner. I don't care which direction it's turning. If it's got that little box in there, I don't have to measure it. I don't have to put any instrument on it. I already know exactly it's 90 degrees. Exactly 90. Run a little low on red there. Hey. There we go. Straight angle.
1/8.
Angles that are exactly 180 degrees. And what does it look like?
Straight.
A straight line.
Couldn't it be 0?
No, sir. Good question. That is a 0 angle. If it goes that way, remember we're talking about the opening. Okay? If I do that, the other edge is laying exactly on top of this edge, 0 angle. But then if you have a 0 angle, technically you don't have an angle, you have a ray. I know, it's crazy. It's deep thinking. All right. Now we've got our angle classifications. We can look at angles and we can tell what they are, correct? Whether they're acute, obtuse, right, or straight. Now they're not going to be nice, neat angles that we have to classify. They're going to put them in pictures, especially on the tax test. I did exactly the same thing. And they're going to do this right here. And they're going to say, classify the indicated angle. Classify the indicated angle. And the indicated angle is the X. So what they want us to do is classify this one that goes just like that. And so you draw it with your own pencil, like that right there, and you say that is what kind of angle? Look at the opening.
Cute.
It's fat.
It's a cute.
It is not fat. It is less than 90. It's acute. Alrighty? They also like doing this to us. They'll give us a clock and they'll say, classify the angle that is formed by the hands of this clock. And you'd say acute. on that one also. They're not just going to give us an angle, they're going to put it in a picture and make us locate it and then classify it. Okay, so don't get all hung up that it's always just going to be an arrow and things. They're going to put it in a picture for us. Okay? All right, measuring angles. Using our protractor, we're going to have some angles and we need to measure how many degrees they are. If you don't know this, this is going to confuse you. Because if you look, everybody look on your protractor. I see two sets of numbers. I see from left to right, should be the same on yours. Left to right, top numbers, small over to big. But left to right on the inside, the underneath numbers are big to small. There's two sets of numbers on our protractor. And when we measure angles, those numbers confuse students every year. So I teach it in this form, so you've got to know this so we can do it. All right, step one for measuring this angle right here. First thing you do is decide what class period, what does that mean?
Classification.
Classification. I'm going to put type in beside it with parentheses. You have to first decide what type of angle is it. That's step one. Meaning, is it acute? Is it obtuse? Etc. Because that will help us in just a little while. So, looking at our first example we're going to do while we write our steps. What is this?
Obtuse.
I'm going to put obtus, which represents obtuse, and I'm going to put over here more 90. So when I measure this thing and I want to write down 47, somebody better stop me, right? Because this angle cannot be 47 because it's obtuse. It has to be a number bigger than 90. Is everybody with me on that?
Yes, sir.
So don't let somebody put a small number on there. All right, step two. Put middle line of prot. Put middle line of prot. What's prot?
Protractor.
I'm abbreviating and trying to shorten this up. Put middle line of prot on vertex. Put middle line of prot on vertex. Everybody look at your protractor. It's that line right here. This is called the bottom of the protractor. You look at the bottom, there's a line right there going straight up and down. That's the middle line. Okay? You have one on yours. Then it looks like sunshine going out. Woo! Sunshine rays. So I'm going to put the middle line on that vertex, just like that.
You have to line it up.
All right. Step three. Run one of the rays. Or maybe we should just write edge. What do you think? Run one of the edges. There we go, I'll put an S on it. Run one of the edges of angle along the bottom of prot. Of prot. Run one of the edges edges of angle along the bottom of protractor. So I lined it up like that, put my middle line on the dot, and then I'm going to rotate this to where that edge runs out the bottom, yet my middle line stays on the vertex. I'll move this way so y'all can see that. Right like that. You will notice, what does the other edge do?
More than 90.
Runs through the protractor through some numbers, right? You'd be amazed how many students do this. And it makes me laugh every year. They do this, they then go line up, and then they go, Coach Jordan, the other edge doesn't go through my protractor. Oh, really? You're right, it doesn't. So do something else. Flip that bad boy over. Now it does. So don't do that to me, smart kids. You're right, you can't measure it. It doesn't go through it. Now, could you have done it like this? Does this one right here go through the numbers? Sure does. Okay, don't worry. All right. Good. So I've done this. Up. All right. Now read where the other edge. Now read where the other edge runs through the prot. Parentheses, remember your first decision from step 1 . Another parentheses. If ray is not long enough, what do?
Make it longer.
Use a straight edge and extend it. Do not freehand it, please. Do not freehand it. Don't freehand it. Use the straight edge. Ooh. You don't want one to go, because then you'll have the wrong degree measure. So we were to right here, line it up, run it out the edge, and now look. This bad boy right here runs through, and I see two numbers on my protractor, Yvonne. I see 60, and I see what? 120.
Get rid of
Both numbers. That's what it was, right? Do y'all all see that? There's two numbers I read on my measuring device. A 60 and a 120. Everybody see that? That's why I have to go back to what did I decide this was, y'all?